With Season 2 of WoW Dragonflight, we will be having a new dungeon rotation. In anticipation of that, today we will be covering Underrot. In Season 2, they will most likely replace the Season 1 portals from Valdrakken with portals that will take us to the zones for the new dungeons. If you do not have portals to directly teleport to the new areas, for Horde, take the portal to Orgrimmar, then go to Zuldazar. If you have BFA flying, you can fly to Nazmir at the Heart of Darkness, and you will find the entrance to Underrot. If you don't, or you want to save time, talk to the Flight Master and fly to Zul'jin. Once you land, make your way to the area where you had your initial quest with Princess Talanji. Go to the edge and use your glider. On the right, it's the entrance. Summoning Stone to the right, and the entrance is right there. For Alliance, take the portal to Stormwind, then go to Borealis Harbor. Come to the ship. Make sure you do the pre-quest line to unlock Nazmir. Talk to the Admiral and go to Nazmir. In Underrot, on the trash before the first boss, Elder Liaxa, soothe the matron when she enrages. Make sure to dodge her frontal when she charges a random teammate in your party. Sidestep the frontal breath from the maggot. Use a defensive or stay out of the melee range when you're killing the ticks because they do AoE damage. Put the priestess in focus and DPS her down. Rotate kicks on her blood bolts. Kick Gift of Gahun or just purge it, and priority interrupt her Dark Reconstitution, which is a heal. Don't go down the side that has the 2 extra mobs. Go down the side that has no extra mobs. When you engage the mask, make sure you stun the Dark Omen. Fear, Knock, or any other CC works. On the first boss, Elder Liaxa, rotate kicks on her blood bolts like you did on the trash. When she teleports, make sure you get out of melee range. When she casts Blood Mirror, the Blood Mirror will repeat the same abilities that she has. Make sure you focus down the Blood Mirror and you keep kicks. When both her and the image do the frontal, make sure you get out of the way. On the trash before the second boss, Kragmaw the Infested, watch out for ticks exploding when they die. Get out of the way of the frontal cast by the maggot. Do not be in melee range when the globules cast their Wave of Decay. When you pull the lashers, assign marks and predetermined kicks on them so you do not get stunned by their cast. Make sure you priority kick the Decaying Mine or you will get stunned. When pulling trash in the first room, do not pull more than 3 priority kicks at a time. That means a Lasher, a Blood Swarmer, and a Rot, or any combination of these mobs, unless you are in a pre-organized group. If you pull a combination similar to this, make sure you focus kick the AoE by the Blood Swarmer. You focus that mob down because it will chase one of your party members, as you can see by the eyes on the screen. And make sure you focus kick the Lasher when it tries to stun. Get out of the way of the frontal Rotten Bile. If you can't kick the Sonic Screech, make sure you don't cast, you will be silenced. Start by clearing the room in either a clockwise rotation or anti-clockwise rotation. My preferred way, anti-clockwise. Once you clear the whole room, you can engage the second boss. In Underrot, when pulling the second boss, Kragmaw the Infested, make sure you pull him next to a wall. Make sure your back is against the wall, so that when he breathes, as well as when he charges, it does it against the wall. Make sure everybody helps you step on the ticks before they hatch, or this will happen. And now you will have to defeat them. After every 3 sets of casts, either charges or breaths, he will go to the middle of the room and cast Tantrum. Make sure you have predetermined positions for every one of your team members so they each cover a corner of the room. Typically the tank will cover the middle. If you need to reset the boss, just drag it out of the room. On the trash before the third boss in Underrot, Sporecaller Zancha, you will meet a set of skeletons. Mark the Death Speaker. When it casts Raise Dead, make sure you interrupt it. You can purge the shield from the Guardians. When a Death Speaker does Wicked Frenzy, all the Guardians will do extra damage. The Worms will priority cast Death Bolt again and again and again, and every cast will be faster than the next one and do more damage. Make sure you have a kick rotation in place. During Sanguine Week, make sure you do not kill any other mobs on top of the worms. The 2 defilers before the 3rd boss can be skipped by going over here on the left and jumping over the wall. Although if you choose to do that, the fight will be extra spicy and you need to be very careful about your positioning. When pulling defilers, make sure you prioritize one down and you have pre-assigned kicks for their casts. They do hurt. Although these mobs are immune to stuns, fears, and some other hard CCs, they are not immune to AoE silences. When they cast their totems, make sure you kill it or it will do a lot of AoE damage. On the 3rd boss, in Underrot, Sporecaller Zancha, when you pull him, he will start spawning a bunch of mushrooms throughout the room. He will cast a frontal shockwave on the tank. Make sure you have active mitigation up, and you're also pointing the cast towards some mushrooms because it will defeat them. Random party members will get a debuff called upheaval indicated by a red arrow. Make sure you stand near mushrooms so you can destroy them. When he casts Festering Harvest, if there are still mushrooms up, he will explode all of them and put a massive dot on all party members. Make sure you dodge the balls when he spawns them and you don't get hit by any of them. They put a nasty dot on you. If you mismanage your mushrooms and you still have them up, make sure somebody pops a cooldown and runs all over them and then gets dispelled. Or somebody like a rogue or a paladin pops an immunity and soaks all of them. If you choose to let the last 2 defilers up, make sure your position is very, very careful so you do not end up pulling them. On your way to the last boss of Underrot, the Unbound Abomination, the only new mobs are the Faceless Corruptors. They have a Maddening Gaze, which is a frontal that AoE fears everybody that is caught in it and does massive amounts of damage. Abyssal Reach will spawn a tentacle, which will then target somebody and hit the ground in a massive arc in front of it. Make sure you dodge it. It's very easy to get feared into other packs of mobs or worms if you miss position. For worms, make sure you have a priority kick for their Death Bolt. You focus the defilers and you kick their Withering Curse as well as their Shadow Bolt Volley, and you immediately kill the totem when it spawns. You can skip the middle skeleton pack by coming over here to the left and going around it. Be very careful about the worms that are going to spawn here on your left. Engage the Corruptor and defeat it where it stands. It's very easy, if you misplay here, to get feared into either that worm and that Corruptor, the middle pack of skeletons, or the worms in the middle of the room. To skip these mobs, get on your mount, or just walk by hugging the wall on the right as hard as possible. The last pull in this dungeon are 2 Corruptors which you need to defeat in order for the boss to be engaged. If you stand a couple of feet away, you will not get teleported down when the NPC destroys the wall, in case you need to res somebody. When engaging the last boss in Underrot, the Unbound Abomination, he will put a Vile Expulsion all over the room. You can use the AoE circle to cleanse it, as well as cleanse you and your party members of the debuff that he puts. As you can see, the boss doesn't take health damage. Instead, when you deal damage to him, his energy bar goes up. Every time it reaches 100%, he will summon 2 sets of ads. Need to be defeated. The Titan Keeper will focus down one of them, and you can focus the second one. After you rinse and repeat 3 times and defeat 3 sets of visages, you will defeat the boss. Like in previous fights, make sure that you dodge all of the balls that are running around in the room. If you enjoyed this guide, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share this with somebody that you believe will benefit from the wisdom, and click up on any of the other guides to continue watching.